I'm Miss Peer Editor, and today we're writing a high-scoring body paragraph for Q3, the argument essay, on the AP English Language and Composition exam. Make sure to watch until the end to see my full body paragraph. We're using the actual prompt from the 2021 exam, which is linked in the description below. Here's the prompt. Many people spend long hours trying to achieve perfection in their personal or professional lives. Similarly, people often demand perfection from others, creating expectations that may be challenging to live up to. In contrast, some people think perfection is not attainable or desirable. Write an essay that argues your position on the value of striving for perfection. Here's our thesis. The pursuit of perfection is often a counterproductive endeavor that leads to overconfidence, exploitation, and corruption. We're going to focus on this first point, overconfidence, in our body paragraph. Let's establish a general structure that your body paragraph will follow. This structure is flexible. You can move elements around or add claims and transitions. It's completely up to you. Start with the topic sentence, which should explain the smaller, more detailed claim that supports your broader argument. You'll then include evidence from your own knowledge, and that knowledge can include examples from history, science and technology, art, pop culture, sports, you name it. You can buy my full info bank with about 25 real examples from these different topic areas on teacherspayteachers.com. The link is in the description. After every piece of evidence, you need to provide commentary that shows how the evidence supports your argument or refutes a counterargument. You'll repeat this pattern of evidence and commentary multiple times, and I just want to make a quick note here. A lot of students choose to focus on just one example as their overarching evidence for the whole body paragraph, and that is totally fine. However, you can still layer your evidence and commentary by providing individual facts all related to the same example and adding commentary after each fact. Lastly, in your concluding statement, you should connect your body paragraph back to the thesis by answering the question, what is the overall value provided by your perspective or vision? The AP Lang Q3 rubric also has a section devoted to the sophistication point. If you've seen my Q1 body paragraph video, all of the same tips apply. You can earn this point by identifying complexities or tensions. Complexity is all about nuance. You should describe underlying trends that are causing an issue. Discuss biases and assumptions that people make which are affecting the way this issue is being addressed. Integrate multiple considerations. For example, you could argue that striving for perfection is beneficial in a professional setting, but not in your personal life because you have less control in the latter. You'll probably experience loss. There might be a natural disaster that uproots your family, for example. And in general, these are just examples of events that make it harder and harder to achieve perfection in your personal life. So we're considering this topic from multiple angles, but for tensions, look for discrepancies, disparities, and contradictions. Those are all ideas or situations that do not fit with each other or demonstrate some kind of inequality. Think about perspectives that directly oppose each other. Students often ask me, if I include a counterargument, will that help me get the sophistication point? And yes, it can, but you can't earn this point just by making a vague reference to that counterargument. You need to explain the counterargument clearly with detail and refute it with solid logic and evidence or show some kind of compromise. Another way to earn the sophistication point is by situating your argument within a broader context. Explain the impact on various stakeholders, the young, the elderly, companies, the government, etc. Think about limitations you're facing, costs and consequences, whether positive or negative. In the business world, there's an acronym called PESTLE, which stands for political, economic, social, technological, legal, and environmental implications, and you can discuss those factors here as well. You can also make effective rhetorical choices that make your argument more persuasive or compelling to the reader, and a few examples of those choices are repetition, parallelism, and juxtaposition. Employ a vivid and persuasive style. Vary your sentence structure, provide transition phrases and sentences to make each idea flow logically into the next, and elevate your word choice. Now let's dissect our body paragraph. Here's our topic sentence. Those searching for perfection may become so engrossed in their cause that they start to ignore warning signs. This sentence explains a specific danger associated with the search for perfection and offers a segue into my first piece of evidence in which we'll see an example of this obsessive endeavor. The Titanic, a British ocean liner built in the early 20th century, is an example of a supposedly perfect creation. Touted as an unsinkable vehicle, the Titanic was the largest ship at the time, a symbol of maritime innovation due to cutting-edge features such as watertight compartments and a radio communication system. Despite its luxurious amenities, the Titanic was far from perfect, the ship's engineering was faulty, and it did not have enough lifeboats for all passengers on board. When the ship crashed into an iceberg and sank, the death rate was highest among third-class passengers. I've highlighted my evidence, and you're probably thinking, wow, that's a large chunk of this paragraph that I'm devoting to just my evidence. What's unique about Q3 is that you do have to spend a bit more time and effort explaining your evidence because it's not coming from sources that the AP reader has access to, which is the case for Q1 and Q2. You need to make your evidence as clear as possible, and you can't assume that the reader knows exactly what you're talking about. That being said, the point of this essay is not to provide a history lesson, and I know that I've described the Titanic catastrophe in extremely broad terms. The point is, I'm fitting my evidence into the prompt, and as long as it makes sense in the context of the prompt, that's all that really matters. In the pursuit of perfection, the Titanic's creators seem to focus on the ship's reputation and marketability instead of its safety, leading to over 1,000 casualties. Here's some commentary where I'm offering my own perspective. I'm using the Titanic to prove that hyperfixation can lead to the destruction of not only objects and structures, but also human life. This catastrophe revealed another crack beneath the Titanic's facade. Each passenger's socioeconomic status dictated their likelihood of survival, turning the ship into a visible representation of an unjust social hierarchy. Although the voyage was a failure overall, it led to improvements in shipbuilding and maritime safety in the form of the International Convention for the Safety of Life at Sea. Here I'm targeting the sophistication point by placing the Titanic in the broader context of the social class system as well as the legal landscape. Therefore, the quest for perfection does not have only negative implications, it can facilitate positive change too. In this sentence, we acknowledge a valid opposing argument, but it's important that we prove that this is not stronger than our own argument. To achieve lasting progress, it is sometimes necessary to accept less than perfect results. This is where we're going to prove that you don't need to chase perfection in order to create positive change. With this next piece of evidence, we're attacking the counter-argument. American suffragist Alice Paul had to do so when she advocated for the 19th Amendment's passage through marches, hunger strikes, and picket lines, earning women the right to vote. While monumental, this law did not embody perfection from Paul's perspective. She also sought to enshrine equality between the sexes in the Constitution with the Equal Rights Amendment, which remains unratified. This last bit about the Equal Rights Amendment emphasizes that Alice Paul's work, which began over a century ago, is still unfinished. Paul's idealism and ambition gave her the strength to fight for women's rights, and her ability to compromise with other activists and legislators contributed to her success. In our commentary, we're outlining the benefits of a realistic rather than perfectionist mindset. Last is the concluding statement. People chasing perfection tend to demonstrate hubris, a trait that discourages collaboration, while those willing to make concessions may accomplish more in the long term with the support of a broader coalition. This sentence is still connected to my example about Alice Paul, but it's also showing that my vision, a world where people work to achieve their goals but aren't obsessed with perfection, is more ideal than the alternative. In the comments, tell me what commentary you would include in a body paragraph for this prompt, or ask any questions you have regarding AP Lang Q3. If you found this video helpful, please like, subscribe, and tap the bell to receive notifications. I'll see you next time.